Hello, and welcome to another episode of Interview with Schizophrenic. I'm your host, Duncan Singer, and today I'd just like to do a solo episode, a bit of a catch up. I'd also like to talk about what I'm currently working on besides the podcast. So, yeah, I recorded a show with CJ last week, which was enjoyable. It was good to talk with him. I am trying to record more interviews this year. I want to try and produce about 10 episodes. Sometimes I ask, why do I do it? Well, it's kind of like, I think I started it with the intention of seeing what would happen. And now I've got 40 episodes produced. And I think it's a question of just talking about schizophrenia. Because, if we don't talk about it, if we accept that we can't talk about it, that becomes a norm. Whereas if we make the effort and we do talk about it, we make it part of the conversation, then I think we're pushing boundaries. It's important to me. It's an important side of my life. It's not. I don't generally get to talk about it with people. So having that half an hour chance where I speak to someone who's also diagnosed with the condition, it's quite useful. It's quite cathartic, and it's quite healthy, I think, just to keep the conversation going. Because to create any content does require effort, but I think schizophrenia is something which I'm very passionate about. It's something that when you wake up in the morning, you go and you hear that voice again, you think, okay, fine, I've got to deal with that again. It is quite tough. And I just think talking about it, making it the normal part of every day is going to help. Yeah, so I published a book last year, Wisdom of a Schizophrenic. So what it is, it's a collection of short pieces of wisdom. You could call them quotes, which I posted online. It's not like I posted online and just like a throwaway comment. It's something which I think deeply about, and it's inspired from going through this kind of mental torture of the hallucinations and intrusive thoughts. And it produces, a little bit of modern wisdom. So I write them down and I've now collated them into a book on Amazon and Apple bookstores. And I produce something, it's something, anybody who's got schizophrenia or schizoaffective or gone through psychosis knows that it's not pleasant. It's debilitating. It can disable a person. So if we can produce something positive from that, then I think that is good. I think that's the correct way to go, is to produce something positive. I'm not much of an artist in terms of like drawing. I haven't really done that since school, but I still write. I can still write. That is a skill I still have. So why not use that? So I think it's quite an interesting read. It's called Wisdom of a Schizophrenic. I've already published 2 editions. The second edition has got more content than the first edition. It's available on Amazon as a Kindle ebook or as a paperback. So if you want to check that out, I'll put links in the description. It's worth having a look at. And so what else have I been doing? I started producing a comic, like a cartoon, called Schizosquare. It's about this chap who's got schizophrenia, and his nickname is Schizosquare. Um, and it's just a, every cartoon is about something in his life. Like, hey, Schizosquare, nobody cares about schizophrenia. And then Schizosquare says, well, actually, millions of people worldwide have been diagnosed. So, yes, people do care. And, that's a good point, because I think it's like 1 in 100, 1 in 200 is a statistical amount of people with schizophrenia. So if you scale that up to the population of like 7, 8 billion, it is millions of people who are affected by schizophrenia indirectly or directly. So, on a global scale, there's a lot of people, there's millions of people out there who are affected by psychosis, schizoaffective, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, millions, absolutely millions. So a lot of people are affected. And, I would say kind of a bit of a mental health epidemic in the West. Just generally not talking is kind of poor mental health. I think good mental health is characterized by being honest, being open, um, being fearless about what you can speak about. I think that's good mental health. And when people keep secrets, they don't talk, they don't use their phone to speak to people. That's poor mental health. Okay, it's not psychosis, but it's practicing poor mental health. And I think if you practice poor mental health too much, too often, it can lead to more severe conditions. So you got to be careful out there. You got to be careful about what you practice. I mean, I'm quite, when I have the energy, I want to practice good mental health. Sometimes I think, oh mate, yeah, okay, I just can't be bothered. But I think that's normal. But when I can, I do try to be honest and open. Um, I think that is part of having good mental health. That's a. I don't think people really. I don't think a lot of folk really even consider it. Consider the level of mental health they're engaging in on an everyday basis. Yeah, so Schizo Square is a series of cartoons where Schizo Square responds to a question or something said by his the person who's speaking to him, and it's just a gentle way of breaking down the stigma, of showing that people with schizophrenia are just normal people dealing with a condition, and generally, it's a very small minority which become violent and this sort of thing. You know, that's I guess I'm kind of fighting against that bad press that people with schizophrenia have, and also maybe a bit of entertainment. So far, Schizo Square is something which I just do when I have a bit of spare time, and I've only done about 20 cartoons or so. But eventually, I'd like to publish it in an ebook or something. Um, it's just something. It's just something kind of gentle for folks to digest. So that's what I want to do. And in terms of my mental health, I still hear voices. It's something which I have to deal with. In terms of delusions, not so much, not so much paranoia. I've got clarity of thought. That's fine. I can focus and concentrate. Um, I guess I'm probably at the residual stage. I'm 48, so it'll soon be 30 years since I've had dealing with psychosis. So I'm probably at the residual stage now. but it's still a vicious, painful condition for me. Yes, I want to produce more episodes. It's not easy getting guests to come on the show because it can be a little bit scary. Folk get cold feet sometimes. But I think it is cathartic and it's a useful experience to speak on this show and to share what you've gone through. I think it is a useful thing to do. And I think it's in the long term it's good. It's an experience which will make you stronger. So I think that is there to consider. Yeah, so that's about it. It's January 2023. I've done one episode this year, and I hope to produce another nine more guest interviews for the year. That's what I want to do. So let's see how it works out. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.